Hi everyone, Ash is here with Peter Connelly and Murti Schofield, the composer for Tomb Raider 4, 5 and 6 and the writer of The Angel of Darkness. I hope you can hear me alright, do let us know if you can't. So we're here today to talk to you about the Tomb Raider Dark Angel Symphony, of course, and basically to answer all your questions, so feel free to comment them over on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, of course, and we will answer your questions later on in the video. But first, we're just going to talk in general about the project and stuff like that. It took me quite a lot of effort to get this guy on this live stream because he really hates live videos. But we're here after all. So, Peter, so tell us about the Dark Angel Symphony and tell us why you're so keen to make it happen.
It's something I've wanted to do for quite a while now. From a composer's point of view, there was I was limited with the technology back in the day. So what I wanted to achieve wasn't quite where I was getting with what I wanted to do. So, with the new technology 20 years on, and the kind of ideas that have been swirling around in my head, are pretty much, it just gives me the inspiration to want to actually be able to sort of realize this into something that I've always wanted it to be. And I think with the team that we've got these days and the technology, this, that, and the other, it just seems the right time to do this now. While it's still kind of strike while the iron's hot, it's still very much loved. It's still very much liked. So it's just something I want to actually get off the ground, and I want to kind of like relay the music in a way that I always envisaged it, particularly with Tomb Raiders. The first two Tomb Raiders I worked on, which was Tomb Raider 4 and Tomb Raider 5, they were all synth-driven musics. I want these to be totally realised, and I want them to sound more like a symphonic orchestra. Angel of Darkness, which we were fortunate enough to have the music translated to an orchestra, I still see things in that could be improved. So this is the whole idea of the Dark Angel Symphony.
I remember when I first told Murti about the Dark Angel Symphony, he was actually driving us. And he was like, "Oh, what? Really? What? What?" I was like, "Just look at the road. Look at the road. Look at the road." It was a scary.
It was in Chester, wasn't it? Picking you up from the station.
Yeah, it was actually quite a scary experience. I must say, it's like very petrifying.
That almost ended the whole thing.
Yeah, before it even started. So tell us, what do you think about it, Murti? How does it feel to actually, to know that we are still have the Angel of Darkness 15 years after the game was released, we're still producing stuff about it and stuff.
Well, of course, I've got a personal bias in favour of Angel of Darkness, but more importantly, I think on this occasion, I've always been very impressed with Pete's music. I mean, that sounds very faint praise, but we used to go down, we used to chat a lot, and Pete used to give me early versions of various things that he'd done on keyboards and stuff, and every time he just gave me these things very casually to listen to, I'd always say, "Will you sign them, Pete? Will you sign them?" And he did. So I've got all these various stages. But now to hear something fully realised in the full concert form would be astonishing, particularly as I believe there's going to be some changes and some updating and so on. It's going to be, it's been a long time coming, and I know a lot of people out there like me have been really keen to hear this.
Well, that's it. I can hear a lot of things going on in the music that isn't actually in the music.
Yeah.
So to be able to translate that to how I want things to be.
Is that how it happens? You've got so many things going on.
So many. Yeah. It's like that with any piece of music. You're right. If you write something you write it quickly, the more it's planted in your head, the more things start to develop around that. So it's them things I want to see.
And you get surprises.
Yes, exactly.
Suddenly things come out and surprise you that you didn't realise were waiting.
You just you'd literally wake up, or you'd maybe have a dream about it. You'd wake up and think, "Oh that would sound great," So
that's the same with the writing. I mean, I'd get dreams and I'd get all sorts of ideas, and then as I was writing, things would surprise me out of the page. So it's a similar process.
It's the same as well. It's like errors as well. When I'm writing stuff, I find that the best material I've written isn't something I've directly translated from my mind to the sequence. It's like I've made an error and I've played it back, and it's like, oh, hang on, I wasn't expecting that. It's like that's totally wrong, but hey, I like it. You'd be surprised how many composers have that kind of story to tell. So
Yeah, I know that aside from the writing side, but to hear that, I hadn't heard you say that before about you know things occurring in the process, and of course, you know, when you think about it, it's logical, but
it's similarly creative process, isn't it?
Yeah,
Writing, music, art, you know, it's them little things that outside of the box of your comfort zone that tends to make
and it makes you feel very alive, doesn't it? That moment of discovery when you think, oh, I know I'm going to do that, but you discover something else. It's like, oh wow, yes. And you're being refreshed by that.
Exactly, well. It puts that creative flow back into you. You know?
So you just mentioned about the that the music will be remade. Can you tell us a little bit more, because we heard that some people would like to hear about a special track from Margao, the character that you, Murti, created for the second installment of the Angel of Darkness, and people saying maybe there should be a Margao theme. So can you tell us whether it's going to happen?
Yes.
So.
Good.
It has to. You know, to be honest, I want this to be for the fans and by the fans, and it's, you know, if there are any requests to do anything particular and it's definitely within reach, it's something I will definitely want to try and at least look into, you know. So any ideas you have about what you would like, let me know. I'll see what.
And with the reason, we will try to accommodate that. Absolutely. But Margao is coming, and we probably will be using great artwork for Ina to.
Oh yes, Ina's work. Once again, Ina, thank you for the fabulous portrait you did. Puts my efforts to shame. But she's actually a living character for me now, mostly because of Ina's artwork, and to get some music to go with it.
Yeah. When you just said that Ina is a living character, I was like, yeah, she's alive.
Yeah.
So, will the soundtrack be available after Kickstarter? I just got the question from Fiona on YouTube.
Yes, it will be. Yes, absolutely. The Kickstarter versions will be unique to Kickstarter, so anything that we release beyond Kickstarter will not be Kickstarter limited or exclusive. So yeah, they will be available, but they'll be in a slightly different entity. So
yeah, but what we plan to do is for Kickstarter, you will get luxurious items like these statues, pendants. When they say Kickstarter exclusive, these are Kickstarter exclusive. So once they're gone, they're gone. With the Kickstarter, we'll have a different packaging as well for the album. So it's not going to be this. We just have printed as a sample. We plan to have a special luxurious box which opens in 4 ways. So it's difficult to explain, but once we actually will be able to show it to you, we will as soon as possible. But that will be only Kickstarter exclusive, so you won't be able to get that outside Kickstarter. But later on, you will be able to purchase album in normal plastic kind of
normal jewel case.
Normal.
It'll still be
just the packaging that will be different.
It'll not look cheap. It'll still look, it'll still look fairly luxurious, but it won't be as exclusive of what these is the packaging we're using for Kickstarter is.
Yeah. So as I said, if you want to have a great, amazing limited edition of the album, pledge now or increase your pledge to have an extra CD, because yes, all those extras in add-ons on the Kickstarter, you will be getting those limited edition ones as well. But again, once Kickstarter is funded, everything that's after that will be in different packaging. It will be less luxurious. It will be more of something that you would expect to get in a shop rather than something that you'll get for limited edition. So tell us more about things. I already mentioned about that we will have stuff available after Kickstarter. The people were asking about you signing things.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
The way I understand it is the signed posters will be signed unless specifically told otherwise. CDs and DVDs, vinyl, etc., they all come as standard unsigned. But if anybody does want them signed, we need to know before we ship them, so we're able to kind of fulfill that request. So yeah, in a nutshell, posters will be signed unless otherwise indicated, and vice versa for CDs and DVDs.
So at the end of the Kickstarter, we'll be sending you a survey. Which item you want signed. Or maybe none of them. They don't want to devalue them.
You don't want to devalue them.
Who wants him scrolling all over them? Can't even write his name.
Don't even know my name.
Have you thought, we just got a question on Facebook from Emmy. Have you thought about specific themes for each character, Peter?
Oh God.
Writing like specific Curtis Trent theme or Ludwig?
I think if I was to go back and do the whole AOD theme, you know, if I had the chance to go back and revisit it like back in the day, I probably would sort of tackle it with the theme-based motifs. You know, like Curtis would, like as mentioned, Curtis would have his own theme. So when you see it, it's the same as like, you know, with most films like Star Wars, for example, when Darth Vader comes on, you hear that, you know. It would be the same with Tomb Raider. I would like to have a Curtis Trent or Lara theme, but it's just because of the whole development process was just a little bit more. It's a little bit more convoluted than, you know. It made sense to write the music with kind of sort of generalization behind it, so it could be used, you know, here, there, and everywhere. Like I was quite surprised when I'd done the cutscene stuff. How well the music fitted with some of them cutscenes. Even the scene change with the, you know, the patterns or the bars in the music. So yeah, but if I was to go back and do it all again, it would be nice to have a motif for each character and introduce that when each character is brought in.
So if you've got a character and you're using the word motif there, is that like a complete piece of music, or is it like a theme that's woven into the rest of the music?
It can be a dedicated theme. I mean, you could hear, like, there might be some strings and brass playing, and then you see Lara, and there might be a flute, which kind of represents Lara.
Or that's called the motif.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, there'll be like a kind of motif, something that you recognise as Lara, you know.
So what would you call a piece that was dedicated to a character then?
Again, a motif.
A motif,
yeah. So you would just have that piece of music that would be playing at whatever part, and then if Curtis came into the equation, we could put some sort of, you know, demonic percussion or quite raspy brass in there, you know. So
Curtis and raspy brass, that sounds pretty good.
People asking whether there will be a Janice theme.
Yes. I'm just thinking
demand for it.
I'm just thinking like
I think it needs to be played on the
stuff.
cello, because I'm wearing actually a vest here with Janice.
Oh yes.
These are signature edition vests that we're gonna have.
Janice
We actually have
cello.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are going to be more characters later on available. Just keep an eye on the Kickstarter. But yeah, you can get Janice vest or T-shirt and stuff like that. Just have a look at our Kickstarter. You can increase your pledge by £20 and get one of these.
You know, they're doing Janice tours in Paris now.
Oh, do they?
No. What they say, wishful thinking.
I'm sure now.
Where have you been?
So there's also people asking whether about the orchestral version of the Le Serpent Rouge remix.
Oh God, that's going to be quite a challenge. But it's not going to be full. It's going to be some sort of hybrid, I'd imagine. It's not going to be completely translated over to orchestra, because I don't think an orchestra alone would be able to achieve that. So it needs to be some sort of hybrid. It needs to have that electronic side of stuff along with the orchestral elements. I did that on the end credits for Tomb Raider 5. It's quite electronic, but there's some orchestral elements in there. I can't even say elements.
Elements.
That's it. Yes, you see, it's a Geordie.
Yeah.
But I can imagine the Serpent Rouge being pretty much the same. At the moment, it is pretty much fully, you know, electronic. So I want to try and bring the two together and make it something a little bit more special. The ideas are there. I just need this funding to so I can take the time out and do what
the door of opportunity to open and just let it rip. Yeah.
Speaking of the door of opportunity, in your right corner of the screen, you see how much money we currently have, which is £46,975 pounds out of 60,000 of our main goal. This is live number, so it updates as we go. So if we reach 60k, obviously this will happen. If we reach 90k, it will be even better. You can see it all on the Kickstarter. But yes, this number is live, so hopefully it will go up during the stream and we can reach some milestones with it. Actually, people are saying maybe we can have a Janice rock theme.
Oh God, no pressure.
That's from AJ Rich, the question. We got a question for you, Murti. What happened with the notes for the Angel of Darkness that you destroyed?
Right, yes. I've seen some theories about this going around. The notes which are on offer, which are actually here in this folder, is able to see that there? Yeah. This is the remaining 30 odd pages of notes. After the game had finished, I was in a less than positive state, and I destroyed quite a lot of my working notes at the time. and it was only recently I came across these at the bottom of another box for another project I was working from. I don't know why I'd stuck them in there. So these are working notes. These are my first thoughts and working notes. And of course they're on offer in this rather attractive leather case. Whoever gets these will be able to reconstruct all my thinking processes. Well, you know, as are represented by these 30 pages. There's very, very early versions of character names in there. Very early ideas of you know, the Cabal were called various things. Eckhart, I was going to use Dr. John Dee, the Elizabethan alchemist, at one point. All these things are recorded in here. Early versions of all the ideas and characters that became whoever they came. The Curtis character was just the stranger at one point. You know, so there's l'étranger for you Europeans, and yeah, there's a lot of ideas there that weren't used, but a lot of ideas that were changed into the characters and the themes and the ideas that we know.
Totally unique as well. I mean, these have all been, you know, these are not like, you know, these are not PDFs downloaded and printed out. These are actual handwritten notes, originals, not copies.
And they were gone as soon as we went live.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
There's a lot of.
Oh, careful when you.
Yes.
No. I used to sit on these and throw them in the back of the car. So
now you devalued our.
They've had some very, very rough treatment. But yeah, they are the working notes. There's nothing smart or polished about them. But they show the thinking process that went towards AOD. So
AJ Rich is sending you his best to you, Murti.
Oh, thanks. Hi AJ.
Hey AJ.
I can't hear you, but hi.
You all know this guy.
Yeah.
Speaking of notes, we actually have quite a surprise for everyone here. I did mention some of it on my last stream last Sunday. But basically, we have a plan, well, rather Murti has a plan to produce a Curtis Trent's diary, which incorporates some of his previous ideas that we just scattered across as notes into a special kind of notebook, which will be available after Kickstarter. Now, whether it will be
after Kickstarter, yes,
after Kickstarter,
yes.
Yeah, because we haven't produced it just yet.
Yeah.
But again, it will only happen if we reach at least our main goal, because otherwise we will not have a platform to sell stuff.
Yeah.
But
I just show a
not just yet.
Oh no! Okay.
In a second. Very good to show this.
Hold me back.
But what we will do is we might be able to mass produce them, not mass produce them, but have about 100 copies of them produced, and you will be able to buy it later on after the Kickstarter campaign. If we reach the funding, and now you can show us some of the stuff on the camera.
Yeah. Yes. The idea is that, of course, Curtis keeps a journal, as his father did. Shades of Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade and so on. And what this is it'll be Curtis's notes, because he was involved with a lot of the people who were in Angel of Darkness before under different guise. And one of the most exciting ideas I had recently, there's I don't know how you can see those.
Fine, yeah, you can.
Yeah, I can see those. Yeah. But an idea I had recently was that Curtis also inherits some of his father's journal pages, just a few, yeah. And what is interesting about this in Constantine's journal notes is the origins of the logo that eventually became Curtis's T-shirt. And Constantine had been doing research into some shapes which had been reoccurring through documents and engravings, and even a temple plan, an Olmec temple plan there. And there was something common in that. And what he did was he made all these notes. And Curtis, when he died, Curtis inherited these notes along with the Chiragai. And Curtis was very interested in the skull theme as well, because it's the Olmec skulls, the crystal skulls, and so on. And he decided to combine the two into the logo that we know. And use that as a kind of a tribute to his father, a memoriam for his father. So yeah, there's a lot of working notes going on there, lots of pages, lots of ideas, and it's just a matter of getting it pulled together. So
I'm just getting some questions here about the statues, whether the statues actually is Lara taller than Curtis. Well, technically she is, because she is on a, how do you call that?
Pedestal.
Yes, that. So yeah, she's slightly taller than him. just so you can see the
Well,
proportions.
she's higher than him, but she's
Higher,
not taller.
yes.
Yeah.
She's not taller, she's higher than him. We have
Well
a
done,
question
the
here from
technicalities.
Fiona, whether the games you loved will be credited in the album booklet. Yes, basically everyone who wrote an article promoting this event, our Kickstarter, will be credited in the booklet. All the fan sites, all the bloggers, everyone will be credited. So yes, you will be credited. Any chance we can get an aligned version of Murti's notes, since only one person gets to have them? This all depends obviously on Murti's opinion on that and the person who will be getting the original notes, but I would imagine yes, but significantly later on, because obviously the person who will receive those notes, who already bought those notes, gets an exclusive right to see them first and to tell us whether they wish to have them online or not. So I don't think why not, but I don't think the person will mind. But again, they will receive them first, and then
they'll decide.
Yes,
then we'll decide.
It's respecting the fact that they, have
the pledge for
gone pledge for those. Yeah.
We got a question here. Murti, I showed a friend a Morgau sketch that he said looked like North Cyberpunk. What do you think of that? I'm making something from it as we speak. Not sure what that means.
Sorry, say again.
North Cyberpunk.
I don't know.
We don't know.
Not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with that. No. The visual image. I did the design for Morgau, drawing from quite a lot of things, a lot of characters, a lot of kick-ass action girls, and so on. Did lots of sketches. I think a lot of those are online anyway. You can see those. But it was when Inna actually did her portrait, and that was when, in my mind, she actually became very, very real then. But yeah, I drew from punk and what's the Japanese fighting schoolgirl?
Hentai.
Yeah, all those. Yeah,
not that. But
I was looking at all those for the look. The character is quite different from that, and the character is unique. In fact, the character is the most fully realised character that I never got to put in the game, and I'm a very strong fond spot for her. So yeah, hope she gets a music theme.
We got some nice comments for you, Murti, from Tatiana. She says that you are such an amazing artist. Your process is amazing.
Thank you, Tatiana.
Now we also got the question here. How come the soundtracks weren't released alongside the game's release? Do we know?
We don't know. It was never ever discussed with us, if I'm being honest. I mean, with regards to the Angel of Darkness soundtrack, there is a version of that out there, which releases about 9 or 10 of the tracks that were with the game. But we were never aware of any release of that. One day we just walked into our studios at Core Design, and there they were, already kind of done and released. But I think they were limited edition and they were given away.
You weren't up to date with that?
No, not at all. No. I mean, there was loads. I mean, obviously the naming of the tracks were different to what we actually named them.
Yeah.
They used the naming convention that we used as a work in progress, and also the soundtrack wasn't mastered either, so there was no. It was just as we got them from Abbey Road. And then really
came back a done deal. Yeah. That happened with the actual name Angel of Darkness as well, because I was getting suggestions for the names for the game from people in the company, and came up with some very funny ones, very rude ones, very good ones. Submitted all, and we shortlisted those, sent those down, and it came back the Angel of Darkness, and that hadn't been on the list. It had been chosen by the publicity people. Good title, actually. It's
a very good title.
I like it. But yeah, that was it. It was a done deal. It came back to, no, this is what it's going to be. Oh, okay, right.
It's how marketing works. Marketing do their thing. They've got their team to work behind it. They have their people to liaise with. They have their consultancies. Yeah. And that's it. But yeah, with regards to the music, it was just I had no idea that was going to be be released. I'm not even sure how many versions of that CD is around. Maybe it's 100, maybe it's 500. But it was just meant as a giveaway promo thing. But with regards to the rest of the soundtracks, it was never discussed, so it never happened. So
right, we got a question here about the vinyls for the Kickstarter. How come the remastered tracks are not available on the vinyl?
The remastered tracks, if we put them on vinyl, we'll have to produce a lot more vinyl, and that costs. We're trying to keep the costs down. we're still unsure whether we can get what we want on the one vinyl, so it's looking like we might have to have 2 vinyls. So if we had the original remastered soundtracks of there, you'd probably be looking at 3, 4, 5 vinyls, which would get very, very costly, you know. Yeah, it's not cheap to produce vinyl, so we have to kind of like keep it minimal. Plus, you know, it probably wouldn't be any different to hearing it as a download or on the CD. So, you know, we want to kind of focus on the Dark Angel being the main crux of the project, and the rest of it is kind of secondary, you know. So, yeah,
extra bonus,
exactly, yeah.
Will there be a concert going on with the rest of these remastered Tomb Raider soundtracks? Yes, if we reach 300,000. It does say so on our Kickstarter. If you read on the main page, it says if we reach the stretch goal 3, which is the concert, which is 300,000.
4, yeah.
4, sorry. We will have a concert as well, and 1,500 top backers on the Kickstarter will get a free ticket because basically these guys are making it happen. Therefore, it will be only fair. But yes, if you read our Kickstarter, it's all there. Have you guys tried approaching LucasAid and places like that for advertising funding, like original Tomb Raider advertisers? Yes, we have. There's a lot of work going on in the background. We try our best. So yes, we are working quite hard. Right. There's been tremendous amount of work going into this. But yeah, we have approached them. Will the digital release be uncompressed for people who prefer lossless format? Now, I have had this question before, and I said that the least we can promise is that it will be in the iTunes kind of Google Play quality, but we are exploring the possibility of lossless.
I do genuinely believe we need to supply these IRAs.wavs, which will be 2448. Lossless quality, but it will be a lot of downloads, so we are looking into other options like FLAC, high quality MP4s, you know, just whatever we can do that will kind of give everyone the option to be able to, you know, listen to it in whichever format they want to listen to it to in. So yeah, it's something that's still in discussion, but we do want it to be as you know, as lossless as possible. So I think FLAC and possibly WAV, you know, might be a way forward.
So yeah, we are basically, we can't say yes just yet, but we are committed to happen.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
so that's what you're trying to say.
In some sort of Geordie dialect.
By Norse Cyberpunk, it's something like the Viking sagas told in the Blade Runner type settings. Would that be something?
Right. Yes. Yes, it does. Yes. Right. I can place that now. Yeah. Blade Runner. Yeah. All that. Yeah. Cyberpunk. Yeah, that's the. We're going back to the Morgau question now. Yeah, presumably. Yeah, of course. I hope so.
Sorry, just
I've got another glitch there.
Stuff,
yeah, right.
Absolutely. It just takes a while for
just
to go
through.
I'm
I'm getting old, so my memories go. Like, where did I go for all these resources?
Where are you again?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Pete to come and play the whole concert at my home, which he's promised to do.
I never did.
Yeah,
dreamt it.
No, I misremembered that. Yeah.
Now, we are £25 away from £47,000, and we are on 78% in funding with 3 weeks to go, which is great.
Yeah, good.
So hopefully we'll get at least to the main goal, and then possibly to a couple of stretch goals as well, and later on we will hope to use after sales to reach the stretch goals as well if we won't get enough in the first run. But yes, do pledge to increase your pledge if you can. Pledge for another t-shirt or another copy of CD. As I said, the CDs will be a limited edition for Kickstarter. They will have different luxurious packaging, and the ones that will be sold in outside the Kickstarter will be different standard shop kind of edition.
That goes for the same for everything. The vinyl, the sheet music. It's anything that's within the Kickstarter realm will be absolutely exclusive. After that, it'll be different. So, you know, if you want something that is just exclusive to the Kickstarter campaign, pledge now.
Make sure
you get one.
Yeah.
Well, we got a question here about this is probably for me because I kind of know this. Does anyone know what happened to Janelle Elliott? She seems to have vanished off the face of the planet, sad face. Well, she didn't. She wrote me a letter ages ago. Actually, not ages ago. A year ago. Not a year ago. In January. This January, she sent me a letter saying that she was busy, blah, blah, blah. Janelle does not like attention, so we have to respect her private life. So we can't put her in spotlight. She doesn't like the public and stuff like that. She works full time. She has a child, and she just does not enjoy to be in the spotlight. Shelley Blunt, on the other hand, her best friend, is a different thing. And if she's watching, hi Shelley. But yeah, Janelle just doesn't enjoy the public spotlight as some people will. So we have to respect that. And coming back to that, Murti gave me today a couple of photos of Janelle and Eric Loren and Murti himself and other people from the
Joss Ackland,
from the Angel of Darkness voiceover recording sessions. Some of them that we haven't seen before. I'm gonna scan them in tonight and we'll release them as soon as I can on the Dark Angel social media. So they'll be rolling out eventually. So do follow us and you will see all them there. So that's coming soon.
Nice photos in there. I look gorgeous.
You look gorgeous.
I do
now.
Janelle was a TV host. Yes, Janelle was a TV host, but things change and, people don't want attention after that. So that's...
we've got to respect
I can't comment.
I totally sympathise with that. I hate...
There are some things that we can't discuss. So she just doesn't like the attention and we should respect that. That being said, Eric Loren has confirmed that he will be hosting or co-hosting the live show if we reach that target. So if we get 300k, we'll have Curtis Trent's voice co-hosting the thing. And I would imagine Jill DeJong will be co-hosting it as well. And Jill is very much on board with this. She really can't wait to be back as Lara Croft. So we really need to reach that stretch goal to make the studio recording stretch goal 3.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm bad with math today, sorry, I'm foreign. Stretch goal 3 to make the studio recording happen so she can dress as Lara again. So she's really excited for that. So,
it'll do us all good, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I don't know these people.
Live.
Is the Kickstarter...
you just see them all thinking.
If the Kickstarter makes it, are you excited to see the music put into the games? I don't think that's gonna... I think that's AJ. I think the AJ means whether this music will be put into the classic Tomb Raider games as mods and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't see why not.
Yeah, I had the question about that. People saying that, they tried to put other music and they couldn't do that because of copyright. Now, this music will be also copyrighted, but we don't see why not, for you to put them into the level editor because that's kind of free thing. So yeah, I don't
see why not. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's, the way copyright works, as long as it's not for commercial gain, you should
be fine. Yeah, so we will be on board with it. And yes, I would imagine you'll be excited to see the Dark Angel Symphony playing in like a mod of the Angel of Darkness.
I think so.
That'd
be absolutely cool.
Yeah. I really love how Angel of Darkness music on its own tells a story. How did you set the pace and mood? Do you refer to storyboards and the likes? That's from Fatel Azuddin. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Sorry.
The person likes here how the Angel of Darkness music on its own tells a story. How did you set the pace and mood for that? And do you prefer to see the storyboards when you?
I think I work a lot better with visuals. So if I see something, I kind of can translate that into a musical form. So what I tend to do is I either stick a piano on or just some sort of patch, it's something I can kind of mess with. I'll look at the visuals and just kind of move things around until it kind of works.
What visuals did you get to see? Did you see the sketches?
There was a few sketches. There was a few. There's a few JPEGs I got. There was some
James Kennedy, a lot of James Kennedy stuff, and
some test levels as well. I remember particularly on the previous Tomb Raiders, but on Tomb Raider 4 and 5. But you would get like the first sort of like room of a level.
Yeah.
And I think with the E3 stuff on Angel of Darkness, I use some of that to kind of get a feel for it. So I kind of just look at stuff, and I just like mess around with sound. It's like if you find that if you look at a level and you just play a bit of music in the background, it either works or it doesn't work, or it might just work. So it kind of works like that for me. I kind of move things around until I think, okay, right, that's getting to tie in with the visuals.
But of course, as a long-term musician, you're not doing this like you're sitting down saying, "Oh, I'm starting this cold." You've got years and years and years and years of music experience, listening experience.
Yes,
so you've got this entire orchestral behind you, haven't you? To feed the imagination.
Sometimes you can just look at something and you just know what it's going to take to get to that kind of feel, you know. You also need to kind of look at the dynamic of the level as well. I mean, you know, it might be an exploratory scene. You need to know whether it's whether it's going to be that completely changes the ball game. You know, if it's going to be a room with lots of fight scenes, then obviously the music needs to sort of reflect that. So yeah, I mean, I kind of like, sometimes I can just sit down and just have an idea that I work with, and it works somewhere in one of the games or in one of the levels, you know. So, but a lot of the time I just like to look at a visual. It doesn't take much. It might just be a screen grab, you know, and then everything kind of just evolves from that. You might stick it in the game, run around the level, and think, actually, no, it's not quite right. So you go back to it and revisit it until it's you know, it's fitting, you know. So
there's a lot of creative intuition in this.
There is, yes,
and then the fact it's communicated so well to so many people shows what's a talent you have to. Yeah,
fluke.
You can't say yes there, but no, that's it, isn't it? You know, your intuition, what works for you, has actually communicated itself to hundreds of thousands of people, and it's made it come alive for them.
As a composer, it's very hard to kind of grasp. That's the reality of it. For me, it was just coming into work and doing a day job. You know, writing some music and thinking, great, that works. Next, you know. Yeah. And for it to be well received, it's nice and
it's great.
Bonus,
it is great.
It's just something it's something you don't expect or don't plan to happen. It just happens, you know. So thank you.
And here we are, how many years later, and and people still love you.
They don't. Or do you? Leave their heart and like on this video right now.
He's a good presenter.
I wanted to be a TV host one day when I grew up. Peter, what composers influenced you? Part of the Angel of Darkness score reminds me of a bit of Jeremy Goldsmith.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, come from the same. But I mean, I grew up. I loved the works of Burt Bacharach. You know, some of the music that he's written is absolutely phenomenal.
People are leaving lots of hearts. They do love you.
Thank you. It was Murti. Where's that?
No, the little hate marks there. From
they don't have them. Yes, I'm glad they don't have that.
Get him off.
But big with thunders.
But yeah, I mean, I love things like John Williams. I'm trying to, you know, when I'm put on the spot of who it is that I like.
It's difficult,
so it's
it?
difficult. Very. It's like somebody says to me, I know hundreds of pieces of music, and when somebody says to me, play some music on the piano, I just go blank. Hans Zimmer, Hans Zimmer's a huge influence.
Should I just throw a load of names at you?
Yeah, I'll just say yes or no.
Lady Gaga. Probably not, because she wasn't even there.
But you know, I do like a lot of the cinematic stuff, and I do like a lot of the hybrid electro orchestral stuff. You know, so but with regards to Angel of Darkness, which was pretty much 100%. You know, it was no electro in there whatsoever. I probably drew influence from the likes of Hans Zimmer, John Williams,
Richard Niles.
Well, of course, Richard Niles. He's if it wasn't for Richard Niles, I wouldn't be where I am now. I was also into music right from a very young age, and then I sort of like the 80s came because I'm quite old, and
you are.
and then the whole synthesizer technology was born. I kind of got into that side of things, but then I heard a track which I was absolutely blown away by, and I still am 30 years on. It's a track by the Pet Shop Boys called "Left of Mind Devices." In the orchestral arrangement in that is just, it's meticulous. There's something about that just keeps me coming back for more. And it was back then, 30 years ago, I was probably saying, one day I want to work with this, whoever done this orchestration. This is the type of guy I want to work with. And as it happens, it's Richard Niles, and here we are 30 years on. And he's more than happy to be on board. So, I want this, as well as doing this for the fans, and to kind of like do things that I've always wanted to do. This is also to kind of realise a full, a lifelong dream to work with Richard Niles. I just know he will be the guy that will turn this into something special. If it wasn't for Richard Niles, I probably wouldn't be doing this. He is the Dark Angel as far as I understand. Sorry, Richard, but that's how we perceive you. I need to explain possibly what his involvement will be and how it will be delivered. It's like, okay, if you want to build a birthday cake, you go online, you get the ingredients, you follow the instructions, the recipe, and you put it together and you make it. It might be nice, it might not be. You know, you're not too. It depends who cooks it, but it will take the love of a real cake baker to be able to get it just right. You know, and as far as Richard's concerned, he's the icing on the cake. Terrible, nice. terrible. Sweetie, yeah.
Cringe.
But so cringe, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's like saying he's the difference between someone who's not done it before, or he's kind of vague about what it is he wants, to somebody who can do something and know that that's going to be accurate and bang on every time, you know.
Oh, and as you say that, we just reached 47,000. We got a pledge, which was, I think, about £400. And I'm going to read the name, who that was. Hopefully, they left the name. Thank you so much, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
It doesn't tell me just yet.
Anonymous.
Yeah, for now. It is Canubis increased their pledge from 380 to 790. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll be reading everyone's names who'll be pledging in the next during the stream. So please increase your pledges or pledge more. Thank you so much for all your support so far. Now, something that next question is not the question. The general mood I'm getting here for comments is about the Tomb Raider Chronicles. Now, this was my first game. This what got me into Tomb Raider. Into thousands, that's how I became a fan. That's how I moved from Turkmenistan to bloody UK. Now I'm friends with you guys.
See what's all up to you.
I learned English because of the game, and it was a massive influence on me. However, I was not very keen on the music in the game. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I just never heard it because I had a pirated version which didn't have the music, so I didn't really pay attention to it. Then I heard Angel of Darkness and was mind blown by that. But people here are talking that the Tomb Raider 5 has incredible mood and atmosphere in terms of like the main theme and stuff like that, which when I made the trailer for it, it actually grew on me a lot. So you say that this track was not finished. So any chance of it being finished for the In the Dark Angel?
That's probably one of the
not finished.
No, I never finished it. I have actually got a not finished version, a longer version,
right,
in my original
files.
Oh, right, okay. But it was probably when I worked on Tomb Raider 5. I took everything I'd learned from Tomb Raider 4, and I started writing the track. And I thought, okay, I'll just put it one side and I'll do it later. But the project became so intense. It was the first project that 100% was done by me. Yeah. So I did all the music, did the sound effects. Attached all the sound effects to the animations. I did all the cutscenes, all the FMVs, everything you see in the game, from an audio perspective, was done by me.
Every aspect of sound in every way.
Pretty much so, yeah. And it just got overwhelming, I mean, even did the translations, the languages. So there was the French, Italian, German, Spanish, Japanese. It was all done, by me.
Didn't know you spoke so many languages. Really
they didn't do Geordie. I thought that was wrong.
Didn't speak English.
Definitely don't speak English. Yeah, that's why the figs and everything works. But it was something I thought I'd go back to and finish towards the end. But things got so hectic that I couldn't go back to that. Everything was like up to the last minute.
Well, you shouldn't have to, presumably.
But I know in the head, exactly how it needs to be, and it is one of them tracks that I want to kind of look at first and get out of the way first, because I know. It's the unfinished one, and it's the one I don't want to make the same mistake this time by starting it and then the last minute trying to finish it. So I want to finish it, get it to how I envisage it, and it's all up there. I can hear it. I just wish there was some sort of converter.
Direct transfer.
That's it. Some MIDI port you can just plug in your head and little play. You go, that's it. That's exactly how I wanted it.
Our long-time supporter Anna M. Ribes. Hi Anna. She says that she fell in love with Tomb Raider music because of you, Peter. No idea why.
No, his music, not him.
Because of Peter. Actually, because of the because of Tomb Raider 4 main theme. Then Tomb Raider Angel of Darkness was a blast, flawless, and that followed by AJ, who says, "Same. Peter is the reason I'm so picky with the game music now. Angel of Darkness set the bar."
Wow. Sorry.
To be, to be hearing this stuff, this much further on, this many years on,
it's
you know, the effect is profound, isn't it? You've had a really profound effect on people.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
What part of creating the original soundtrack was the hardest? Did you ever had a moment where you got so frustrated with it?
I can't. I think if there was a point in which I was frustrated, I probably remember it because I've got quite a photographic memory. But no, it was. You know, don't get us wrong. It wasn't easy, but it wasn't difficult. And it wasn't frustrating. It was a really good. It was a really good stint. You know, I enjoyed my time at co-design. One of the very few jobs, that I feel. You know, I've got a bit of motivation to get up and go into work in the morning. You know, so it was good. It's fine. There's nothing really. I can't really tell you anything about any derogatory times. You know, it was all good.
Emmy Parker says, "You guys need more compliments. Come on, Emmy, hit that heart button on Facebook." So you can see it. Will there be making? This is probably for me. Will there be making of behind the scenes for the Dark Angel album? Yes, there will be. We have it penciled in. Now, depending on the stretch goals and what we can reach, it depends how it will be executed. But yes, there will be, and it will be available free of charge. So that's something that we're working on. Obviously, the videographer will be paid, but
and it'll also be included on DVD as well.
DVD. That is if we reach some stage.
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
What you just said, yes.
Yeah.
Just
I just scared me there. Like, what do we do? Right. This is probably for me as well. You did an amazing job collecting the original artworks and sharing them with the fans. Is there any chance you recovered the Angel of Darkness source code too? An odd question to ask on the live stream for that. Well, I haven't recovered it. I know who has it, and I'm working to get it. So
what's that? Recovered what?
The Angel of Darkness source code. So I know who has it, and hopefully we will get it eventually. But at this stage, I can't be working on that. I need to see this through. We need to focus on this. So once this is done, I can then go to our anonymous source of all the information that I have been posting so far and tell them that, you know, see how much love the Angel of Darkness still gets. So please give me everything you have. And so basically this might make it happen, essentially. I'm not just making this stuff up to make you guys pledge. This is actually the thing. The person is actually, when I first contacted them, they were like, but, you know, everyone kind of hates it. I'm like, no, there's a lot of love. You know, there's been to Play Expo and all that stuff. So if we reach certain goal, and they did send us quite a lot of things that we haven't seen before, like the anniversary edition documents and stuff like that. That was all by them to us because I showed them that there is a lot of interest in that. So if this project is being funded successfully and everything is happening, I will once again contact them and say, look, just give us the source code and we can...
But only at stretch goal 4.
That's what he said. But even on main goal, I probably will try to get it. And essentially, all I can say is that the Angel of Darkness source code is really dated, and the levels were made in Maya 7.1, I believe, and they also have the level editor for it, which is essentially a plugin for the Maya 7.1. So that would be amazing to have. But again, only if we get sorted this. And please don't send me any more questions about that, because today it's all about the Dark Angel Symphony, and I will be reading only questions about that. Have you guys heard of what happened to the movie Once Upon a Time in America? Angel of Darkness is the like video game equivalent of that. It's hard to read that.
Once Upon a Time in America?
Yeah, apparently the Angel of Darkness was kind of similar.
Oh, that's Sergione, isn't it? The music does the music for that.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. You've got photographic memory.
I have. I remember it all.
Yeah.
If the concert comes to, if the concert happens, will there be a world tour? I hope it comes to Manchester. Well, if the concert happens, it's going to be in London. We did explore Manchester as a first venue. Sorry, I'm answering this because I've kind of been involved in that.
The plan is London, but it was Manchester. It wasn't London, and I think we're probably a little bit unsure about where we could host it right now.
All right.
It could still even be Manchester, if I'm being honest, you know, because it's more central, cheaper. It just makes a lot more sense to do that. The reason we chose London for the reasons for that were quite complex. So, so because we're not doing
transportation of the orchestra.
Exactly. There's a lot of reasons, but because of how things have changed and what we're focused on now, it could be Manchester. So you know,
which would be great.
It would be great, but I'm also in.
Shorter drive for you, isn't it?
exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't get lost this time. I'm also in kind of discussions with a US promoter who might be able to help us out in that respect. So watch this space with regards to that. No promises, but we'll try our hardest to get this music, you know, this music played and exposed to everywhere we can. So
just to go behind the scenes on that, we do have all the venues penciled in. We do have venues in London and Manchester penciled in. We know where we want to perform. It's just
did lots of research on that.
We dedicated months of research on, because we did plan to have the concert as a stretch goal from day one, but it kind of was on the back end of that. So hopefully, if we reach that stretch goal, it will happen, and we will not be delaying it. And again, 1,500 of our top backers will receive free tickets. So, I got another question here. Can there be a live stream of a concert if it happens? Unfortunately, that depends on copyright, and there is a lot of issues. Basically, if you would like to release a DVD of the concert, you have to pay
It's a lot of money. We looked into all the live streaming of the concert. You know, a recording of the concert, a DVD release of the concert. You were looking at like sort of 40 to 60,000 just to kind of reserve the orchestra to be able to, you know, for us to be able to do that. And then you've got all the costs on top of that, videographers, etc., etc. So
it is a lot of money to do that. So we can't
promise it.
No.
If pledging goes mental, then we look at all possible options, you know, what we can and what we can't do. So
this guy is very vain. He wants it to be heard everywhere possible. So it just, you know, depends on the amount of funds we get. So
good, big, solid ambition. It's great. Yeah, you want to be heard everywhere.
There was a talk. That's probably again me, because I mentioned it last time. There was a talk of a meeting amongst pledges in the UK somewhere. Is that still happening? Yes, it does. As I said, when we reach 95% in funds, we're currently at 78%, so quite soon. I will announce where it is. We are in talk with the venue, so yeah, watch the space. It's gonna happen. So I just need to have a specific. Basically, when we reach 95%, we will know for sure that this is, you know,
it's gonna happen. Yeah.
So then I can book the venue. But yes, it is happening, so watch the space. Will you even remaster my favorite Angel Darkness soundtrack, which is Reading the Ghost?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think they mean by reimagine rather than remaster.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think the Reading the Ghost and there was a few tracks that were welded together to make the shaman music, the shaman scene music. I want to take them tracks, which I think one of them is Reading the Ghost, to be able to turn it into more of like a track that will be called probably the shaman, you know. So yeah, that's definitely one of the tracks that will be reimagined and revisited. So
what's a good definition of reimagined then? Or you know, you're taking the music that exists and you're expanding, changing.
So basically, you might have.
It's not a fresh start. It's
not a fresh start. It's a remake. It's kind of like looking at what you've already got and redoing it. It'll be the same music. You will recognize it as Reading the Ghost or Angel of Darkness, Boaz, whatever. But it might be rather than a minute in length. It might be 2 minutes in length and have some breakdowns. It might have some extra instrumentation. It might have some extra motifs in there. You know, it's just. If you listen to with regards to remastering the original to TR4 and TR5, they will be the same music tracks. They'll just be kind of they'll have like a paint. They'll just be cleaned up a bit, so the sound accessible on most systems. But with reimagining a music track, it'll be completely kind of like looking at what made that track work, what was good about it, what was bad about it, and building from that, you know. So, and that's what we need Richard for. It's very, I can't articulate how important he is to this project. So we really need to, ideally, you know, if I have Richard on board, we need to at least reach stretch goal 1, which is I think is £90,000, because he'll take all the music that I've written and join the dots, put his magic in there and say, okay, we need to have this instrument there. That instrument works with that instrument. We could extend this. We could do this. We could add that little motif and bring it into that one. We could, you know, he'll completely see things.
He'll make it work instead of just being a load of old waffle.
Yeah, pretty much so. Yeah, he'll see it completely different to me. You know, he'll hear things I don't hear, you know, which
fresh air.
If you listen to the original demos, which will upload at some point, of the Angel of Darkness music, and compare it to the actual Angel of Darkness music performed by the LSO, you'll hear differences. You'll hear production differences. You'll recognise one's a demo and one of them's obviously the real orchestra. But there'll be instruments in the version that you all know that aren't in the demo versions, and they were realised by the original arranger, you know, and obviously Richard set out this world with what he can do, so he'll turn them arrangements and do some funky things with them, you know, which I could probably never do alone, you know. So
your ex-colleague A.D. Smith is watching us.
Hello.
Oh, hi, A.D.
And he
this is
says,
A.D. Smith. Yes. Hi, A.D.
He had lots of fish.
Yeah.
Not sure, that's probably inside joke.
Private joke.
He says that we should have Angel of Darkness dubstep.
All right. So we should what? Dubstep. We should have AOD dubstep. Yeah.
Will there be a live
always an intelligent suggestion from A.D. Right? Okay.
Will there be a live action Lara Croft model present at the concert for meet and greet? Yes, Jill DeJong will be there. If we have a concert, she probably will be hosting it with Eric Loren, which is the voice of Lara Croft. And here we have actually the photo of her, Jill. Hope Jill is actually watching, because Jill is really on board with all this. She really is excited to go back to become Lara Croft again. So just pledge and we will make it happen. Yes, she will be there. She will be there for meet and greet and to sign all your stuff for the concert if the concert happens.
She's a big fan of mine. You know?
She's also attending the studio. The studio as well. So
on the Stretch Goal 3, she will be at the studio as well. Now. Sorry, I'm just skipping through the. What happens to pledges made after £60,000, but before 90k if 90k is not reached? Now, I think I can answer that one. Eddie Smith says lol. I think I can answer that one. Anything that doesn't, any extra money that we receive will either go into you buying additional libraries and stuff.
Yeah, it'll get put to good use. I mean, for instance, if we get to if we get to 80,000 rather than 90,000, there's still a chance I could probably use Richard Niles. We just need to work out what he can do and what he can't do.
Yeah, so he will be basically doing some tracks, but not all of them.
Possibly, yeah. We need to, if we get that extra £30,000, I know he'll be working on everything in the same way that we kind of originally planned.
It will enable more to happen.
It will, exactly, yeah. It'll be put to good use one way or another. Maybe if we do 70,000, maybe that extra 10 I could maybe just get Tina Grow to come and record some cello. You know, so we could. It'll be put to good use one way or another. I'll not spend it on loads.
We also will. Yeah, you better not. I'm watching this guy. We also will have, as I said, we'll be selling stuff after the Kickstarter ends. Again, it will be not luxurious as this stuff, but we might still generate some money on that, and then that will make us reach that stretch goal. So yeah, it will all be put into the music and good use. So thank you for that question. All the very best, guys. Eddie Smith.
Thanks, Eddie.
Okay.
Now I want to talk to you about the AJ Rich asked this question quite a while ago. I just missed it. Basically, he was saying that will you be making a music about scrapped characters like Putai, for example, the shaman from the Angel of Darkness kind of chronicles era?
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly.
I think we need to sit down and decide, you know, what we need to write. Because I mean, between Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6, there might be more music than we can do. So I might be, you know, there might be the possibility that I might just take some of the stings out, or I might add some of the stings in current tracks and just kind of like incorporate them here or there and the other. You know, hot part of the kind of reimagining and stuff. Yeah. But if there's any other ideas, like I say, we're kind of open ears. If the requests are demanded enough, I don't see why we should avoid them, you know. So if there is a need to do tracks, new tracks from the ground up, then we'll definitely.
I mean, people have been asking Inna this, haven't they? You know, they want Inna to do all the characters in Angel of Darkness. Like, what an ask! Yeah, you know, I mean, hell of a talent, and it'd be great to see. But whoa, you know, a portrait of every character. So
Tatiana Laidzel, hi Tatiana, just pledged £167 for complete collection, and she just broke us into 79%.
Yay!
So, yeah,
thanks, Tatiana.
We moved to 79% in funds. Yay! I just got another question, which is a repeat question. I already answered it, but I will repeat it again. I will repeat it as many times as necessary. Will there be a shop after the Kickstarter ends? Yes, there will be a shop. You can buy t-shirts, and anything non-limited edition will go there, like posters and stuff. CDs will be there as well, and vinyls. However, the CDs will be different to the Kickstarter ones. Kickstarter will have luxurious packaging. The shop CDs will be general standard one that you would expect in HMV or any other shop in your country like that. But yeah, there will be a shop. But if you want a luxurious limited edition stuff, you go on Kickstarter now and pledge. But yeah, but there will be a shop.
Yeah, but if we don't reach our minimum goal, there won't be a shop. So you know, we need to. This needs to happen. So,
Murti, where does your name come from?
I spent. I used to be young, and I used to spend a lot of time travelling around different parts of the world. And I got the name Murti when I was in India. I went there to follow a teacher there, and went to the ashram that he was running in Pune, and got given the name Murti, which is actually Sanskrit for image. Which you know, you get given it, you don't ask for your name, and I thought, well, that's kind of appropriate in many ways. Yeah, that's how I got the name, and came back and I changed it by deed poll, so it's on my passport and everything else. Because
really,
oh yeah, I didn't do things in half measure. You know, I used to, you know, go in 100% for everything. So yeah, that's where the name comes from. And my, you know, everybody liked it except my parents. What? You know, you're giving up the name that we gave you. But eventually, both my parents came round, and all my family call me Murti. It's I've been that for 30 years.
On the door, did they ring the bell?
Yeah. So yeah.
Which I think what they mean is, which of the 3 games that you worked on was the most difficult to work on in terms of music and stuff?
Oh god, that's really quite a difficult question. I mean, they all had the challenges. Tomb Raider 5, I'd probably say, was the easiest one, but that was also the one in which I did everything. That was probably down to many factors. Probably,
I mean, everything you mean. Sound design,
sound
effects,
sound effects, music.
You didn't create levels, did you?
No. Although a few of my ideas did make it into some of the.
Like what?
There was, I think it might have been Tomb Raider 4 or 5, but there was a level that was mirrored.
Oh yeah.
And there was. I remember when the programmers, I think it was Gibby actually, he was kind of jumping backwards and forwards, and he was watching the 2 Lauras being mirrored, and I thought, wouldn't it be great?
That's Tomb Raider 4.
Yeah, it wouldn't be great if you had like, you could only see the secret like kind of level on the mirrored version. So you would obviously have to jump back and then you would land in it. That was my idea.
Yeah,
but
that's one he had.
That's one I had. Yeah, I made Tomb Raider. I am Tomb Raider. I forgot the question. But yeah, Tomb Raider 5 was the easiest, probably because I'd already learned quite a lot from working on Tomb Raider 4, so I was quite prepared for it. Whereas with 4, I was pretty new into it and I was unprepared. And it was a much bigger game, Tomb Raider 4. Tomb Raider 5 was a lot smaller. I can't remember any of the 3 being really overwhelming, and to the point where, you know, it was kind of difficult if I would finish them or not, fulfill them.
That's what comes with being so talented.
I mean, it's not how things are done.
Difficult isn't a problem, isn't it? I mean, if it's challenging, it's good because it brings the best out. Yeah,
but yeah, it's. I mean, back then, you were a one-man band. You were expected to do everything. You were expected the sound effects, the music. You were a musician with, you know, the expectations of creating the sound as well. Whereas now it's all individual disciplines. You know, I mean, you've got your sound designer, you've got your sound artist. Your sound designer is somebody who creates the sound. Your sound artist is somebody who actually puts the, or that might be the other way around, puts the sounds into the game. So they do the implement it, the Foley effects. Yeah, you have your Foley studios where people will throw them down to you. Obviously, you have your composer. Everything now as well, musically, it's kind of split in elements. So you might have this kind of like low undertone, and then, you know, depending on which level you go or which part of the level you go, it'll bring something else in. So it's quite complex in terms of what you can do in comparison to what we were doing back then. So you know, I mean, a good example is like Driver San Francisco. When I worked on that, we had at peak, I think, about 11 or 13 people working on that. So, you know, everyone has their own discipline or different sections.
You mean 13 people working on the sound of music?
13.
13, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, right, yeah.
Just on the sound alone.
Yeah.
So you would have somebody who was dealing with the ambiences, so they would sort all the kind of like world sounds out. You'd have somebody who was dealing with the vehicle sounds, somebody who was dealing with the UI sounds. Back then it was just, you've got to do it all, you know?
Yeah, do the lot, yeah.
Whereas I think looking back, really, I think Angel of Darkness and probably Tomb Raider 4 and 5 as well. I can't speak for 3 because I wasn't on them, but I would probably imagine there should have been at least a 3 to 5 man job. But you'd understand the crunch.
Oh yeah. The crunch.
Yeah, the crunch. Yeah, when you're working kind of.
I mean, I went there to do dialogue originally, and you know, got asked could I do, you know, the gig and come up with ideas, and I ended up doing dialogue and directing the dialogue. The artists and everything. Great. I mean, it's like learning as you're going along. Yeah,
it's pretty much what it was. It pretty much as it was with Tomb Raider, because I'd know. When I started working on 4, I had no, apart from doing the odd bit on Tomb Raider 3, I had no real kind of like training to do. So it was a learning process. You know, it was trial and error.
Learn as you go.
Absolutely,
Stephanie Barnes just pledged £105 for limited edition pendants.
Oh, the pendants,
here are the pendants here.
Yeah, fantastic.
You'll be able to choose one of those. Got a question here. Did you ever hear the rumor that Anthony Hopkins was gonna play Eckhart? I read that from an old article.
No. I did work with Anthony Hopkins on another project. Yeah.
Who you didn't work with?
No, I did. Never mind who didn't. No, but I looked at all the audition tapes and so on. He wasn't in the running for that. I wish he had. Hi, Tone, if you're watching. Hi, Sir Tone.
I don't know if you already answered to this already, but from the Angel of Darkness, which track is your favorite and makes you the proudest?
It has to be the theme music.
Yeah.
Purely because it is a reprise of the Tomb Raider 4 soundtrack. I'm not sure whether that's common ground amongst people, but if you listen to the Tomb Raider 4 theme, the main motif at the beginning, it's the same motif in a different key for Angel of Darkness. So it and there's a lot of tracks in there, Angel of Darkness, which were also in Tomb Raider 4 and 5. So they were kind of they were reimagined for Tomb Raider 6. So, but I'll probably say the main theme, just beautifully put together, you know. And I'm not blowing my trumpet here; I'm blowing the arranger's trumpet.
Right, so
it's not euphemism.
I was just going to say that, but I think no, I won't say that.
Tudor Sfatozu pledged £20 for a digital version of the game. And on this note, I'm gonna call it a break for a minute, and we'll be back in a second. So please don't switch off.
Stay tuned to this channel.
Stay tuned to on this channel. Yes. And we're back with Peter Connelly and Murti Schofield, two toddlers. Because it's really difficult to be live with them, trust me. So we have a couple of questions here. What is your favorite classic Tomb Raider levels?
I'd probably say mine's the Tomb Raider 3 London levels.
Why?
I can't pinpoint exactly why, but I would probably say that I just feel it was around the time I was starting core. It was about 2 months before Tomb Raider 3 was released, so I got to kind of play it before it came out, and I just kind of remember them levels vividly. It seems to be the one that, you know, it just kind of stands out to me. And of course, Andy Sandham made them levels.
Barking mad.
He hates that.
Apparently, he really hates that line in Tomb Raider 4, the barking mad one, which I think works quite well in the cutscene.
Mind you, he hated everything. He was a typical creative, you know. He hated everything he did. Everything was shit. Sorry that we all are, but you know, it was
doo-doo.
Everything was doo-doo, yeah. But it was great, you know. I think he did a cracking job with what he did. Considering he wasn't just doing the storyboarding, he was also creating the levels as well. You know, he took on quite a lot of work, and I think he did a grand job, regardless of what he thinks.
Yeah.
Where will you record the reimagined Tomb Raider 4 to 6 soundtracks?
That all depends on our success on Kickstarter. If we just reach the bare minimum 60,000, that'll give us enough for me to do that myself in the studio. And I'm projecting between 9 to 12 months to kind of reimagine the music. So if we reach 90,000, I'll get some help from Richard Niles. Well, when I say help, you know, he'll completely transform it to the next level. Again, you know, however he arranges that, I will be kind of building that up in the studio using synths, libraries, samplers. You know, there's a lot of modern libraries out today which are kind of good enough to use. And to sound as good as a symphonic orchestra, but obviously you can't be the real deal. You never can, you know. I mean, no matter how much or how hard you try to program it. But obviously we get a stretch goal 2, which is £120,000. Yes, is that stretch goal 2?
120. Yes.
Yes, yeah. If we get to there, then I kind of want to do some sort of hybrid. So it'll be parts studio based, synthesizers, samplers, orchestral libraries, that kind of thing. Plus I'll also use some live instrumentation as well. I'll probably bring in the use of like Tina Go, Julie Elvin, probably use a full-on choir, you know, and just any other instruments I can kind of bring in there to kind of like work as a hybrid with this stuff I'll be programming in the studio. If we reach £180,000, of course we'll be going the full hog, and we'll use an 82-piece orchestra to perform this at A. Lyndhurst. Now, the work I will do in 9 months, they can do in 2 days. So, you know, that's why, you know, we would use a real orchestra. They would just come in, there'd be hand-selected composers, hand-selected musicians by Isabel Griffiths, and these are the best of the best, you know, the best that anyone can find. And they would do a cracking job, you know. They'd just come in, they'd read your music straight off and bang, it'll be done, you know. Whereas if I do it, it's going to take 9 to 12 months. So
Amal just says that his favorite classic game is Tomb Raider 4. Everything about it is great, including soundtrack. What got you into the music? Got the question here for you. Games music.
Games music. Oh god. Going back to a very long time ago when I was young. I was an avid game player. Stop laughing at me. I was a very avid gamer, yeah. Game player. See, I'm showing my age now.
I was young.
Back in the day.
When there were dinosaurs.
But I grew up with like the Commodore 64, the Commodore Amiga, the Spectrum, you know. And I was also fascinated by the sound chip on the Commodore 64, the SID sound chip. You know, it was a synthesizer basically. It was a 3-channel synthesizer, and some of the music that kind of came out on that, it just blew me away. You know, it's what they could do with 3 channels. So I was also a big fan of like Rob Hubbard, Martin Galway, Ben Daglish, etc., etc. And I loved that the music also got like recognized back then. You know, I mean, they would have like top 10 in the Commodore magazines. They would have like a top 10 section of game music. You know, and a lot of times I would buy a game just for the music, and that inspired me. You know, to thought, okay. By the time I left school, which was 1989, you know, a long time ago, things had moved on, things had changed. A lot of things that were coming out were kind of based on MIDI sequences and CD audio tracks, you know, and that's kind of the direction I felt that I was heading into. So, what was the original question again? Sorry.
What got you into the games music?
Commodore 64.
Commodore 64.
In one.
You answered it, yeah.
In a roundabout.
And were you cold interviewed at Core? You go along as a complete beginner, a non-entity, a complete nothing, a zero, zilch.
No, I've been working for various other companies before. I mean, I've been writing music from the very early age. So whether it was just on the piano, whether it was on on the Commodore 64, on a Pro Tracker.
Right. And they were desperate enough to take.
They're desperate enough to take us on. Yeah, they just went. I can't understand a word you're saying, but we'll say yes anyway, just to show you. But that was pretty much it. I've been working 3 or 4 years before that in another games company, you know. So, you know, a lot of the games companies I was working for before Core Design, they were small developers, and they folded quite quickly. But it was enough to give us that experience to get us to that. Without that, I wouldn't be where.
You got in the right place, the right time.
So yeah.
I got quite a few questions here about the Shadow of the Tomb Raider reboot and stuff like that. I imagine you never played those games.
No.
So please don't send us those questions.
I'm not a disrespectful way. I mean, I used to play games quite a lot, and I got, you know, obviously I'm practically married now with children. I just don't have the time for that. So around the era of, you know, post kind of Into the Darkness, I kind of like lost that appetite of playing games, or lost the time to be able to play them type of games. So.
I got asked that question in Play Expo in 2016. He said, "Oh, you know, what's your favorite game or your favorite layer in Tomb Raider?" And I said, "I don't play any of the games." No. There was this dreadful silence, and then somebody else on the panel said, "No, I don't either, because you don't have the time. You're working on things so hard, you don't have the time." That's not my reason, but at least he backed me up. Yeah.
The last thing you want is if you've lived and breathed the game you're working on for like 9 months, the last thing you want to do is to touch it. You don't even want to think about it, never mind touch it. So
I couldn't think about it for about 3 years. I mean, I'd had enough.
Yes, I totally get that. You know, it's anything I've worked on, I don't want to work on. There's very few games that I've worked on that I will have a play with afterwards. You know, so.
Amal is asking, did you have to study Egyptian culture to come up with Tomb Raider 4 music? As far as I know, that Jeremy Smith planned a tour to Egypt for Core Design at the time, but then he was like, "Screw you guys, you're going to British Museum instead."
that sounds about right. Yeah. No, I didn't. I studied. I listened to some soundtracks. I think The Mummy I was quite heavily influenced by at the time. I used to listen to a lot of that. You know, if I felt I was kind of verging away from the Egyptian theme, I would listen to The Mummy, and that would kind of put us back on track. But there was a few other soundtracks out there that just helped produce the tracks.
Tiziano is asking, would you consider wearing colourful glasses like Elton John?
Give him the money, yes. Wear clothes.
I'll answer that one. Hit 60,000 at least.
He will wear them. We actually got a question last time. When I had my stream, I got a question about whether there will be used traditional Egyptian kind of ethnic instruments in the tracks.
It would be silly not to. Yeah. It's like one of them things. If I get to do it all in the studio, I've got access to lots of sample libraries which sound great. Also, as well, if we reach them stretch goals, and I'm in a position to be able to take on some, some musicians. I would look at people who are, trained in the ethnic type of instruments which are based around that kind of culture, and I will kind of get them in the studio and just see what we can do to kind of like work the two together. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to incorporate into the recording one way or the other. It'd be ideal if we had live people playing, because obviously programming that kind of instrumentation is quite difficult, but possible, but still not quite as good as having the real deal. So
Right, this question has been already answered. I'm gonna answer it again. How much will the tickets be for the live concert, and will there be different classes like VIP tickets? The tickets will be distributed to 1,500 top 1,500 backers on the Kickstarter. So there could be just a couple of hundred tickets for sale, or none at all, depends on which venue we'll go for. So the more you pledge, the better the seats will be. If we reach stretch goal 4, is it? So
yes.
So if we reach that stretch goal 4, the more you pledge, the better the seats will be. Obviously, the less you pledge, there is a lesser chance for you actually to be in the top 1,500, and the seats will be more spectacular. So as for the after sale tickets, if providing we have more than 1,500 seats, we can't comment on that yet because
we don't know the venue yet.
Yeah, we are focusing on this right now, and currently we didn't even reach the main goal yet, so it's a bit early days to talk about prices for the tickets just yet. Let's focus on the Kickstarter, let's make it happen, and then we'll talk about the extra tickets sales. Right, Murti, do you work in Pixar? Because I noticed your hat.
No, I
Pinched it.
I used to go to America more often than I do now, and I had 2 friends working in Pixar. And I went along and stayed with them in San Francisco, and went along to the studios and met a lot of the main people working there. And they were just showering me with bits and pieces. And this just happens to be one of the things that I didn't steal. I was given. But yeah, I'm very, very fond of Pixar films, so I'm a big supporter of them. I think they need support, Pixar. Yeah.
Right, back to you, Peter.
Not as much support.
Not as much as we do.
We're getting a lot of support. What's your favorite Commodore 64 tune?
Oh man, that's difficult. I would probably say the Sanction loading music.
The what?
Sanction.
Oh, right, okay. Any comments on it? Why?
It's just amazingly produced. It's by Rob Hubbard, who was the king of the SID in the day. He just knew how to program sounds. He knew how to get the best out of limited resource. So he's a very good composer. At the same time, he's very melodic. He's just melodically creative, and I really like what he does. Everything he does, I can't think of a bad piece he's ever written, but the Sanction one always just stands out to me. As does the Delta end game theme as well. Again, that's by him. It's just a beautiful piece of music. It's just the way he kind of it's the way he articulates the melodies and the rhythms. He just knows what he's doing.
Yeah. So hearing that, something I've not realised. Do they have awards for game music now? I mean, they've got recognition.
Yeah.
They do. Right.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
I'm
becoming more.
out of the curve at the moment. So.
I'm out the curve. I mean, I'm out the curve. I'll be honest. I mean, there's a lot I need to kind of pick up on and learn. But there are kind of the whole Tigger Awards.
Right. Okay.
BAFTAs as well. There's even BAFTA for video games now, and you find a lot of good video game composers being nominated and winning BAFTA awards. So it's something that's picked up quite well.
Deserved. Yeah.
What's your favorite? Paul is opening a can of worms here. What's your favorite synth and why? Oh, that's gonna take hours to explain.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. Just choose one.
I'll just choose one.
Get the popcorn and enjoy the show.
I would probably say the Roland MKS 80. Everyone tends to like the Jupiter 8, although it's synth nerds out there. Everyone tends to like the Jupiter 8, but to me, the MKS 80, which is a rack mount version of the Jupiter 8, also known as the Super Jupiter, it's just nothing else sounds like it.
Has it got nice shiny buttons?
It has, yeah. It's very shiny.
Oh, lovely.
Which Tomb Raider 4 soundtracks was the most difficult one to make, and what got you inspired to write it? That's from Denny.
Which Tomb Raider 4?
4 to 6, actually, sorry.
4 to 6, which was the most difficult one to write.
And what inspired you?
Jeez.
whilst you're thinking on that, it would be people asking that it would be great to have Murti's autograph through add-ons. Now we actually have
minus pledges.
Minus pledges. Yes. If I sign it, you get it for less.
Actually, all these statues will be signed by Peter and Murti. So if you want an autograph from Murti, get these statues. So these will be signed, and posters will be signed as well by Murti. So yeah, posters.
Yeah.
Will you be able to sign 1,000 posters by Murti?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll add this to the description. Jennifer, you're watching the stream, so add it to your notes to edit out.
It may end up looking like a rubber stamp.
That's not how it's gonna look like.
No. Every signature will be.
I will be watching
different.
like a hawk. I understand myself here, so
Every signature will be screwed up.
Yes.
So yeah, you will receive a survey. Who you want to sign what? So but to have it guaranteed, you have to get the statue. So the statues will be signed by Peter and Murti, and if we reach stretch goals further on, they'll be signed by Tina Quo, Julie Elvin, and anyone else. And Richard Niles and Eric Loren if we reach stretch goal 4.
I'm always up
Jill
for
DeJong if we reach stretch goal
legend.
3 as well. So yeah.
Going back to that question, I can't answer it because it literally, it was just all. I can't.
No, we weren't interested anyway. So. Right, next question.
Next question.
It's as long as it's about Murti.
It's all about Murti. Not a question per se. This is from me. Let's. We were talking about what was inspiring you to write music, and you're saying that you were looking at the artwork and things like that. Artwork we actually have, and I did show it to you on previous streams. So do watch the previous stream on this channel. Wherever you're watching, it will be on Twitter, it will be on YouTube, it will be on Facebook. If you want to see those artworks up close, but we have them here to show you
concept art.
Yeah, concept art. So you can get that.
The god James Kenny.
He's probably watching us.
Is this all by James Kenny? Yeah.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So we have like 80 of them.
Fantastic stuff. I mean, just fantastic.
We have
stuff.
80 of them, and the pledges for the artwork starts at £120. So if you would like to get one of them, you have to pledge 120 at least. So
this guy deserves a book on his own. Yeah.
So these are available on Kickstarter. There's 80 of them. Which one of these inspired you to write a track? Any of them?
Just sit here while we go
do you
through
remember
80
any
I
of
could
them?
go over 80 pages. Yeah.
They're beautiful. You can see them all up
This
close.
one, I mean, this particular drawing there, I can already see music. You know, I can already hear ideas going.
Go on, humble.
I'm not talking anything. But you look at these; they're so diverse. But
they're even diverse in style.
They're all by the same hand, though. And they're all from the, they're all for the same purpose. Some people might prefer one to the other. You know, it's all personal preference, purely subjective. But I think how much we're asking for these, I think you get an absolute bargain. I think they're worth a lot more than what we're asking. So I think whatever you get, you're getting a bargain. So.
And you're getting more than just an artwork in the pledge, anyways.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah.
It's just page after page of really
absolutely
beautiful. Yeah. So some of them are quite basic, but they're still pretty. Some of them are big, some of them are small. If you want to see them up close, see my previous stream from last Sunday. I did show them all up close, so please have a look at that. So to be in the chance to receive one of those 80 artworks, you need to pledge £120 or
more.
Get the Ultimate Collection, which is $750. I believe.
It is, yes.
But it's all now Kickstarter. Just have a look, and reluctant to say give us your money, but give us your money.
There's puppy bags there.
Yes. So we are on 79%, which is a good number. Now
80% is better.
We are 100%. 120% is better. 200%.
I did maths. 100% is better.
What was our projection on the first day? Wasn't it like something like
384%, I believe. Something like that. That was on day one. That's what KickTrack predicted us, but it did drop significantly since then. So in terms of your pointing at my tablet. In terms of the Dark Angels music, what is the most what's the one you're looking?
Okay, sorry. I got all excited there. I thought,
Yeah, he
I thought that was the current one.
yeah. So ignore this guy at the moment. In terms of the Dark Angel Symphony, which track you're really looking forward to reimagine from scratch and just have it done?
one. Looks the dance of the Lux Veritatis.
Oh yeah, you do hate that one, don't you?
Hate it.
Yeah.
Do you? Really?
He absolutely.
Why? Yeah, it wasn't done right. It was there was a lot of errors in it. The errors that I can hear, and you know, it's
Well, you'd be able to, but
I could fix it easily. But it's like any piece of music. If you listen to something, right? I always say to anyone, if I ever record anybody, a vocalist or anything, if they kind of say, yeah, I can just live with that. I think you might say that now, but in a month's time, that little error will become out. So
yeah.
So
dominates everything.
But yeah, I mean, I was pretty disappointed at how Lux Veritatis turned out. And it's been in my mind ever since about how we can go about fixing it. So that's the one thing I really want to get.
Emmy
stuck
says
into.
that she loves the Dance of Lux Veritatis, and I like it as well. I don't know why I hate it.
Imagine how good it could be then.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I might absolutely turn it into something.
Caitlin goes, what? But Dance of the Lux Veritatis is so epic. I'm good. The fans, they're gonna drop all the pledges.
What do you know? What's your name?
That's
again?
the thing, though. The chances are I'll probably mix it. I'll probably do it and fix it, and how I love it, and everyone will say, actually, that's shit.
Yeah.
In comparison to the so there is always that. You know, you've got to bear that in mind. But it just is what it is. So I mean, I've been very quite surprised over the years, because obviously since the advent of social media, you know, you start chatting to people, meeting people, and you learn that what you hate they love, and it's just it's just that, you know, it's how it is.
That's funny, because you know, people love everything I do. There's no
Of course I do.
What about, say, Tomb Raider 4 and 5 tracks?
What's that?
What about Tomb Raider 4 and 5 tracks? Which one of them you would looking forward to?
It's Tomb Raider. It's the main theme, Tomb Raider 5.
Yeah, that one.
And I also the main theme of Tomb Raider 4. I'm really looking forward to doing that, because I've got that's the one in Veritatis that I sit and hum away more than others. So
okay, in Tomb Raider 4, the theme was more of like, you know, apocalypse is happening and stuff like that. In Tomb Raider 5, and the theme you can hear like the bells, so it's kind of grave, kind of grim.
Yeah.
And Tomb Raider 6 obviously is epic. Now, in terms of theme tunes, I know what are we to expect from the reimagined tracks? Are they going to be longer? Are they going to be shorter? Are they going to be what? Just explain us briefly what
they're all going to be meatier.
Yeah,
that's probably a good way of putting it.
Fuller,
yeah. I'll do this again. I'll do this, and I'll upload some examples to the Kickstarter page soon. But basically, if you listen to the original MIDI versions and the LSO versions, you can tell which one's the real orchestra and which one's the MIDI orchestra. In the LSO version, you might hear some other stuff that you didn't hear in the MIDI version. But what I want to do is to take the MIDI version and take it to the next level. So rather than be kind of like almost a direct comparison of the MIDI version
over.
Yeah. I'm leapfrogging over to something, and it would be better describing it as putting the meat and bones on the track. It might be longer. I can't imagine them being shorter. I mean, the main theme on Angel Darkness is a minute 32 seconds, something like that. I want to try and get this around 2.5 to 3 minutes if I can possibly. Don't want to take anything away from it. If it needs to be 132, it'll stay 132, but it will be meatier. There'll be more things added. You know,
it won't be more just for the sake of it. It's got to be right.
Exactly. Where Richard Niles, he said to me, he says, "I'll do what I can do with him. If it needs to stay as it is, it'll stay as it is, because that's as perfect as it can be." But you know, the plan is to kind of fulfill each track and make it all as
do justice to all of them.
Yeah.
I know that we had this chat with you in private. I told you that, you know, the Angel of Darkness main theme, this epic bit in the middle, it goes like I said, and it's so short, it's so painfully short, you know, you just just get into it, and then it kind of goes down. It's like,
more
what? So
I can imagine there being more build-ups. So rather than just go bang into it, it'll kind of build it up, and you'll feel, you know.
Yeah, but can it be longer?
Of course it can be.
Okay, that's all
Just
I
for
wanted
you.
to hear.
Put it
Just
on
for
a
me. That's all I wanted to know.
Some little bit.
Now, people are asking about individual tracks, which is probably not the good thing because we can't be talking about every single track. But I'd imagine the Jeep Thrills will be reimagined
Yes,
as well.
course, yes.
And Les Serpents Rouges.
Still can't believe it's called Jeep Thrills.
So we're gonna. Why is it called Jeep Thrills?
It was just, I just thought, I can't think of a name for it. Jeep Thrills, I tongue-in-cheek giggled. I'll name it that, I'll name it something proper later, and here we are, 20 years later.
Stuck with it.
It's called Jeep Thrills Max as well, which I find quite entertaining.
Yeah.
Because Max is the maximizer, the mastering plugin I was using to make it sound a little bit fuller.
Yeah.
So
Jeep Thrills. Yeah, okay, I just can imagine like the bass on that one. Just like listening in 5.1. Actually, this is what people were asking about. What's the difference between 5.1 host for the Angel of Darkness and just Angel of Darkness music? Can you explain that?
yeah, of course, yeah. Obviously,
I did explain it last time, but let's explain it again.
The way you look at it, if you're standing in the position of the conductor, and you have all the microphones around the hall, recording all the instrumentation, in 5.1 you will hear it as you would hear it in the hall, as the conductor would hear it. You know, in stereo everything's kind of just like that. In 5.1 it's pretty much all around you, so you'll get all the nice reverb of the Abbey Road studios that we use. You'll get all the nice reverb from around you, you know, so you'd sound like you're in the middle of the orchestra rather than just
like in the cinema, basically.
Yes, yeah.
So 5.1 means that you get five speakers and one subwoofer, which is bass, basically.
Which
so
is
you
the
have
5.1,
5 speakers. So if you have this system, it's probably best to have that as an add-on because you'll be able to hear the Angel of Darkness, because it was recorded in 5.1.
It was recorded in 5.1, yeah.
So,
it was actually mixed in 5.1, then submixed
so we
to
have
stereo.
that.
Yeah.
We have that available, and it will be. It is as an add-on. You can get it. So if you want to have it, yeah. So it seems like we don't really have much questions anymore, really, and people are just genuinely excited and happy about this. Well, thank you all so much for all your support and all your questions so far, as in all your questions this evening. Rather, we're about to sign off. Final thoughts. What would you like to say to your backers, or those who are about to back, or those who can't back but are sharing us shitlessly on social media?
Thank you. I'm overwhelmed with the response so far. It's you know, it's one of these things you plan for a while and you just never know how things are going to pan out. And since we went live, I mean, particularly with the second Kickstarter, it's amazing to think that there's that much support out there, and it gives you that extra inspiration to kind of believe in what you're doing is the right thing to do. So, you know, to have that support drives what I want to do. You know, it's not all about what I want to do now. It's more about what you want to hear. So keep pledging, please. I know it's a horrible thing to say. It gives you money, but
It's what makes it work.
It's what makes it work.
Yeah.
It's not to put in my pocket. It's to make this project happen. And if we don't reach any of the goal, or at least the main goal, you know, it's not like I can kind of say, well, okay, we weren't unsuccessful. Here's a free version. It's not going to happen because we won't be to make it. You know,
you are essentially leaving job to.
Yes, yeah. I pretty much worked my last day at one of the
He quit his job to work on this.
That's a short way better to put it. Yeah.
Commitment. Yeah. What was it?
When was your last day?
Yeah.
Friday.
So he quit his job last Friday to work exclusively on the Dark Angel Symphony. So let's make sure he doesn't suffer the consequences of that decision and dies from hunger, and his mortgage needs to be paid. 3 children. Jesus Christ, why do you produce them so? Think of the planet, you know, and things like that. But yeah, so he quit the job to work exclusively on that. So this is where the money are going, essentially. So, I got another question here, actually. Peter, do you have any music to listen? Basically, is there any music that the backers or supporters could listen to get the feeling what they could expect?
That's something I'm going to be working on this week because I had my last day at the company I was working for on Friday. Next week and beyond, I'm going to start writing again. Maybe it's just some short. They'll not be fully realised ideas. They'll probably just be like 10 seconds, 20 seconds here and there. But it will give you a good idea of the kind of idea I've got about producing the Dark Angel. So yes, yeah. From Monday on, we'll start developing some.
And I'll be
examples.
pestering him to do that because he needs that. Right, so we are currently on £47,657. That's 79% of the goal. According to Kicktrack, we're trending to 238% of our goal, which is £142,971. It would be great if we would get 180,000, so we can have a live orchestra, of course. So yeah, once again, thank you all so much for all your questions today and your comments today and your likes and retweets and everything that you have done so far, not just today, for the last month and a half. So yeah,
stay interested, keep sharing your enthusiasm. Tell lots of people about it. Share enthusiasm, it grows, it makes other people enthusiastic as well.
I think I have another question just now, actually.
Was it, why don't you all shut up and go home? Is that
no, go to Wagamama's.
Oh yeah, we're going to Wagamama's after that. Can't wait to see everything in action, and the finished product will be perfection. That's from Charlotte. Love you guys, Emmy, and you guys are so dedicated. That's from Amal. So yeah,
thank you.
He is.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for your support. Please keep sharing this project on all your social medias, and all your social media channels really need that push. If you know anyone working in the press industry, do tag them in our stuff, but I didn't say this. Obviously, anything you fancy, just pledge for that. If you can't pledge, that's you can still support us by just retweeting or sharing and tagging the friends who could be
that's very important.
Yes.
Don't underestimate the
Everybody
can
play a
part.
Everybody plays a part. Yeah.
And any requests, if there's anything you think that this project's missing or we could bring to this project, please
within the what you call it? For a moment here, I forgot the word. Within the realistic boundaries.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That wasn't the word I was looking
Parameters.
for. That's a good one. Yeah, within realistic.
I'll let you have
things.
that one.
Yeah. So let's.
Yeah, obviously, don't request something that's it isn't possible. But if there's anything you think we've missed or we could do, ask. We can only say no.
To sum it all up, he promised to make more Gal track, so we're having more Gal track.
It's on camera now.
Yeah, it's on camera now, so that's gonna happen. Once again, thank you all so much for watching and sharing and supporting, not pledging, but even sharing it. So yeah, so this was us from Manchester live answering your questions. Peter will be producing more content in terms of video and showing you what's later on as well. Not today, but
through the week.
Because he quit his job to work on this, so he has time for that now. So he has no excuse not to do it. Just having a mother moment there. So thank you once again for this. We're signing off now. Final words? No?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Just thanks for listening. Thanks for all your questions.
Yeah, thank you. Stay keen.
Yeah.
Share it.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.